The bench. I work at a gym. A basic, no-frills place with old equipment, cracked mirrors, and the faint, permanent stench of sweat. The kind of place that attracts lifers. Guys who come in at 5 a.m. and leave with their shirts soaked through. Who grunt through their reps like they're birthing something monstrous. It's not glamorous, but it's cheap, and for some people, that's enough. Lately, though, we've been losing members. Not because of bad customer service or broken machines. No, it's because of the bench. It's an old flat bench press, its black padding cracked and peeling like dry skin, the steel frame dull with age. It's been here since the gym opened, long before I started working the desk. Nobody knows where it came from. The owner swears it was here when he bought the place back in the 90s. I used to think the stories about it were just dumb gym superstition. A place like this, where people push themselves to the limit, injuries are bound to happen. But it's been getting worse. The first one I was here for was, big guy, been lifting for years. He loaded up 3 plates on each side, nothing crazy for him. He lay down, gripped the bar, exhaled, unracked it. The second it came down, his arms buckled. Not just a bad rep, I mean snapped. Both humerus bones broke at once, like twigs. He started screaming, blood pooling where the jagged ends punched through his skin. The spotters froze. Nobody even moved until ran over, screaming for someone to call an ambulance. Survived. Barely, won't be lifting again. After that, the rumors started again. They've always been around, but's accident lit a fire under them. People said the bench was cursed, that it wants blood. They brought up the past incident. The guy in 2012 who severed his fingers re-racking the bar. The woman in 2017 who somehow managed to crush her own windpipe with a dumbbell on the bench. The worst was back in the 80s. The story goes, some guy named Rick was maxing out. Back then, nobody spotted each other. It was all ego and adrenaline. He lost control, and the bar came down on his throat. Crushed his windpipe, cracked his skull against the bench frame. Swears when they lifted the bar off him, Rick was still twitching. After that, people started saying the bench chooses its victims. I started paying attention. Little things. The padding never seemed to stay clean, no matter how much I wiped it down. The bolts holding it together always looked rusted, even after we replaced them. More than once, I swear I saw the bar roll in its cradle when nobody was touching it. A few days ago, one of the old-timers, Dave, came up to me. He'd been coming here longer than I'd been alive. "You ever notice how the bench never really moves?" he asked. I frowned. "What do you mean?" "Every few years, they replace the machines, the treadmills, the dumbbell racks. But the bench, it's never gone anywhere." He shook his head. "Hell, I don't even think I've seen anyone move it an inch." That night, I stayed late. The gym was empty. The fluorescent lights hummed. I grabbed the bench by its frame and pushed. Nothing. I got lower, digging my feet in. Still nothing. It was like trying to move a piece of the building itself. A stupid idea took root in my head. I grabbed a wrench from the supply closet and knelt down. If I couldn't move it, I'd take it apart. The second the wrench touched the bolt, my vision blurred. A pressure, thick and wrong, filled the room. My ears popped. Then I felt the bench move. Not in the way something solid moves, not in a way that made sense. It shifted, subtly, impossibly, like it had just noticed me. I dropped the wrench and stumbled back. My breathing was ragged. My skin felt damp and feverish. I left without locking up. Last night, it happened again. Some kid, barely out of high school, decided to ego lift. No spotter. 275 on the bar. I saw it happen. He unracked it. Lowered it, and the bar it dropped. Not in a normal way, not like he lost control. It was like something pulled it down. His ribs caved in. The noise was like stepping on dry twigs. Blood burst from his mouth as his sternum collapsed inward. I ran to help, but it was too late. I looked at the bench. I swear to God, the padding was dry. Finally agreed to get rid of it. We tried to move it today, 3 guys pushing at once. Nothing, we brought in a dolly. The second we lifted the bench onto it, the wheels shattered. Wants to try cutting it apart. I don't think that'll work. I don't think it wants to be moved. I think it wants more. I quit today. Let someone else deal with it.